MVP.
It's into the air, left center field, back it goes! Harper, the swing of his life!
You never get ahead of yourself. As
I know rent is due every day. It's always been that way for me. Always been a get better mentality every day, grow every day, be a better leader every day, be a better quarterback every day. And when that rent's due, I don't plan on missing no payments. So.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 3 in the Keystone, episode 102. Full group in the building tonight. Al Ryan, back from his 1-week hiatus. Christopher Guest down there on the bottom of your screen. And myself, Adam Seltzer, in the top right corner. Gents, we are in one of the best weeks of the year. I'm not sure if you are aware, but it is the week of the 8th annual Seltzer golf trip as we prepare to depart on Thursday. People are hype. We're ready to go. Just got to keep the knock on the wood for the weather and the travel. You guys know those are the two big X factors in every trip, man.
I think they're a little bit more hype about the 3 in the Keystone golf outing, to be honest.
Yeah, this is just the pregame for the main event next week.
Sure, yeah. I got to get prepared for what I'm in store for at McCall Golf.
Yeah, you and me both. I did get out there again this weekend.
Okay.
On the range, trying to work it out a little bit, get the kinks out.
Just taking it seriously. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's me. That's how I roll. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something. So I'm trying. We'll see how it goes. But
we're gonna
half a dozen of one, or what's the saying? Dozen of one, half a dozen
of the other.
Yeah, that's basically what it is in terms of feeling good when you leave that place. Week to week.
I mean, it's also the first time that we could say Happy Father's Day to all three of us. I hope you guys both had a good Father's Day and were treated well by the family.
A group Father's Day. It was so I spent my Father's Day, as you guys know, at Jackson had his tournament baseball tournament, the bracket stage. And although they came up short in the championship game.
Wait, what was the name of the tournament? What tournament?
Oh, well, it was the Roxborough Rumble, brother.
Don't give away none for free. We ain't getting no sponsorship.
In 2 games, though, the kid went 3 for 5 with a double and 4 runs batted in. That's why I'm rocking the hat. This is the tournament team hat.
So he stepped up after getting dropped in the order.
That's exactly what I said to him. I said a little wake-up call for you, huh, buddy?
Very good. Good for him.
Where was the PJ Wheelhands? You never answered that text. Where's the PJ Wheelhands in Roxborough?
They built one on Ridge, like right across from like Fingers, Wings, and other things, where the McDonald's is and the Burger King.
Yeah.
I did see that not that long ago, but that's not really Roxborough.
Yeah, that's Plymouth Meeting.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I thought you were saying they did it like in Andorra somewhere or something like that, because all our spots in Andorra are basically gone now. Even I think it's going to Seltzer. What was the pizza spot called?
Argento's?
Yeah, I think the Argento's is.
Yeah, well, they were selling Coke out of the back.
Well, we don't got to, alleged, but yeah,
that wasn't allegedly.
Let's not give all the business out. All right.
This week's episode brought to you by Argento's Pizza and Cocaine in beautiful Roxborough.
As long as the library's still standing, we're all good.
Ming's is gone, aka King's Palace.
King's Palace, that was a spot.
That was a spot. But Modern Vac and So, I think, is still there.
Staple for life.
That's a car wash. That's got to be a front.
What was the bootleg ass movie rental place that was there too? Like Hollywood Video or something?
Oh, there was a Hollywood Video in Roxborough. It wasn't in that shopping center. It was a West Coast video.
There used to be a West Coast video, but that was way before you would keep down or normally out. That was in like the early 90s.
Yeah, we had West Coast in Overbrook, right next to the Baskin Robbins on City Line. It's still there. The Baskin Robbins is still there.
Yeah.
Ice cream will last the test of time, dude.
Hollywood Video was a chain, though. That was a national chain. That wasn't a Bobo shop.
But I think there was a Bobo shop somewhere. I remember Demands used to buy pre-owned games all the time at the one.
There was a GameStop in there.
Was a GameStop? I don't know what it was. I don't know.
Remember what was it, Seltzer? What was and we'll get into this in a second. What was the toy store there?
Family
Warehouse. That's right. Yeah, I got my Darth Maul lightsaber there that time.
Where he's buying the Jax wrestling figures.
Yeah.
A lot of great times in the Andorra Shopping Center, man.
Obviously, the movie theater. Ever since the movie theater left, that was it.
All right, let's jump into tonight's show, boys. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to do probably a bunch of littler segments, I think, tonight. But we'll start with the Fighting Phils. I wanted to at least touch base on my experience. I managed to, and shout out to one of our listeners, Nick Vigiano, his brother-in-law, hooked us up with 4 tickets right behind the dugout Friday night in Camden Yards. What an electric atmosphere that was. Probably, listen, I've been to some playoff games, not in this era, but I went to the 2011 game. I was at a game in 93 when I was a kid. Dude, I'm telling you, the atmosphere in this ballpark was right up there with those type of games. It was probably 40% Phillies fans, 60% Orioles fans. And the game that we had where it was just back and forth, and there were great plays on both sides. You had Schwarber hitting a homer to lead off the game, Jeff Hoffman getting a big strikeout in the 7th, and then Santander hitting a homer in the 8th. And you just felt like both fan bases were going back and forth to see who could be as loud as they can. And the seats that we had, which were right behind the dugout, you know, when they get a big out and they're coming in and you're just screaming like, "Let's go, Ranger! Way to go, Ranger!" I had such a ball at that game, man.
Let me tell you something about the ball you had. Why don't you tell everybody else what happened in that game?
Tell me.
You tell us.
You talking about me leaving early?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? It's funny because the next day when I was watching the pregame and Amy Fadul was literally, it was almost like she knew because Sarah was watching with me on the couch and fell asleep. So she's just as bad. And she said on the pregame, last night's game, basically something effective like anybody that would leave that game early, or fall asleep. And I was like, see, she knew both of y'all were fugazi.
Seltzer was on a pitch count.
So I will say this. I understand your point, but what I will say to my defense is this. During I guess it was the 10th inning, the skies were clear. You did not see any aspect of rain. And all of a sudden, this guy behind me, you hear him and he goes, 10 minutes of storm's coming. And we're like, what?
Who the hell's that guy? John Belaris?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said. So then 5 minutes passes. Doesn't look like anything. He goes, 5 minutes, the storm's coming. Next thing you know, 5 minutes later, the skies open up and it pours. And you look at your forecast, and even this guy was like, at least 2 hours. And it's already 11 o'clock at night. And not only that, but you can't sit in your seat. You got to stand in the corridor with a million people there. At that point, again, we weren't even sure the game was going to restart. If you want to call it fugazi, it kind of was. But again, we're driving 2 hours. We don't know if the game's going to restart. Sometimes you got to cut your losses. And
wait. But here's my question. Like, I understand. I have 2 questions. I understand you don't drink. I'm assuming everything was closed, right?
Right. I mean, they stopped selling booze after the 7th.
Yeah. So, but my second question is, where the hell did you have to go afterwards that you had to leave?
That's what I'm saying. And that's the child, and the baby was sleeping. So that ain't it.
Just hang out and watch horse racing on FanDuel for a while until the clouds pass.
I mean, it's a long ride home, man.
Oh, you weren't staying there.
No. If we're staying the night, I'm staying for the game. We were driving back to Philly.
It's a 2 hour. It's not even a long drive.
Yeah, but I'm not the one to tell the guy who's driving we got to stay. Like that's his call.
Oh, was Vigiano driving?
But I was in support. Yeah, he was driving.
Yeah, but you should have got to ride back with the weatherman behind you. You know,
Belaris he'd have had
Schwartz.
Yeah, he'd have had you.
But listen,
with a 58-minute rain, this guy he had a bad bag of goods.
You don't know that. You don't know that. And also, you could wait 2 hours and come out, and then they just lose, and then it's like, what the hell did we stay for?
Well, that's a
risk to take. Listen, the game was fantastic. I got what I needed out of it. We listened to the end on the way home, so we still got to enjoy that part as well. It was a great win. I got one issue. You guys have been to Camden Yards before, haven't you?
Not since the renovation.
I didn't know they did a renovation.
Didn't they? I thought they did.
They might have, but I mean, it's still basically the majority of the main things are the same.
I mean, 8th grade. It was 8th grade, 1999.
Yeah, that's when I went. That was in the same year. Yeah. What game did you go to? I was that same year I went.
Hey, wait a minute.
Were you in the same game? Did you see when they played Detroit?
Yeah, were you behind me talking about the weather?
Was that you wearing a Juan Encarnacion Tigers jersey in that game?
We were in Albert Bell.
My biggest beef with the ballpark, and probably the part that I think makes me not love it as much as some other modern ballparks, is when you go inside the I don't want to say corridor. That's not the concourse. Thank you. the concessions are on the inside, so you can't see the stadium or the ballpark when you're in the concourse. Like in Citizens Bank Park, you can always look out, and because the concessions are on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're in it, it almost feels like you're at an NBA game or an NHL game.
Yeah, it's like you're in an arena, right?
Yeah, I don't love that. Other than that, stadium's fine. But
I want to ask you about this because you mentioned that the atmosphere was electric, but those were the first sellouts for Baltimore this season, and they have a fantastic baseball team. So my question to you is, what was the vibe for, on your end as far as from the Baltimore fans? Not because you said it was 60-40 Baltimore fans, so 40% of that atmosphere was Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't think they sell out without the Philadelphia fans there for sure. But Baltimore's a hard-nosed city. When they get punched in the mouth a little bit, they were willing to respond. All the fans that I talked to were very, friendly, and there was no. That's what I thought made it cool as well. Is like all the banter was just really, really friendly, and we were, when they brought Kimbrel in. I had said it even before. I was like, "Bring him in!" And the Orioles fans turned to me like, "No, don't do it."
He had a good year for them, though.
No, they don't like him at all.
Yeah, they shouldn't. I wouldn't either.
Like him at all.
The question is, you're telling any of these Baltimore fans about the podcast. So is Baltimore Bill listening right now?
No, but
Baltimore
friend of the
Belarus.
podcast, Mike Haggerty, was in attendance. He was talking up the podcast. So no recognition other than that, but
the one thing I do remember about Camden Yards, aside from it being, it's a couple things, being a scenic stadium, but the fans, like you said. Now, when I went there, it wasn't against the Phillies. It was a random game. They played Detroit when I went years ago. So I can't attest to that aspect of it, but they were really chill people. Baltimore, I like Baltimore a lot. I think Baltimore is a nice city. It's a chill town. I have no beef with Baltimore. That team is really good. But the one thing I remember from that stadium was before we got called down to better seats from the person that I was there with, the upper level is steep as hell. And it wasn't even the highest high. It was like the middle of the section. It was steep, bro. It was tough. Thankfully, we got called down from the maid dudes. But before that, it was.
Is that Lonnie? Lonnie C?
I'm not. I don't know, but it was wild up there. I'll say that. If you're not for the faint of heart.
We went to Pickles, which is the known bar across the street, and we got there. It was hot that day. We walked over there probably about a mile, sweating. Walked in there, no air conditioning. Tough beat for Pickles.
Did you go to Phillies before the game?
No, I don't know what that is.
That's like their main, like one of their main in Ann Arbor, one of their main seafood spots. It's almost like
we just went straight to Pickles for lunch and beers beforehand.
Gotcha.
So let me ask you guys this: do you guys know about how like any home run ball that gets hit over the right field and lands in that like area where the warehouse is? Seltzer, did you see this while you were there? That they commemorate it with like a different color, like brick or something like that?
So I know they do. If you hit the warehouse, they change the color of the brick, but that's an absolute bomb.
That's what I'm talking about. So guy I coach with, the farthest hit ball was by Ken Griffey Jr. at the All-Star game that was there. Guess you know this. You're nodding your head. The guy I coach with was telling me a story. Whether or not you want to believe this, he said his buddy was there and has that ball. And he said
what's he doing with it and not selling it?
He's had it since then, and he every year he'll get just a random like request, like, "Hey, I'll buy this ball off you." He's gotten $100,000 price tag for that ball, and he's not selling it. Would you guys sell? I would sell that ball in a heartbeat,
especially with twin kids. Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day, it's a baseball. Money is everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of baseballs, as a kid, my Uncle Bob used to work as security in the visitors clubhouse. And he got me a ball signed by the entire 92 Pirates team, which included Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla, Andy Van Slyke, et cetera, et cetera.
Jay Bell.
Brad Marvel's brother, Fred the Head, he was a big Pirates fan. So I thought it would be cool when I was like 12 years old to bring him down the ball to his house and show him those things. And their dog ate it. Amber, the dog Amber.
That's like some weird multiverse version of the Sandlot.
Yeah, right.
The murderer's row ball.
Yeah, that's so terrible. But listen, great time in Baltimore. Maybe should have stayed to the end, maybe not. You never know. But at the end of the day, it was a great time, and it was the only game they managed to win in the series. So that was great. As far as the Phillies on the field, a little bit of a June swoon, 10-10 in their last 20 before tonight's ball game. Trey Turner returns tonight. Brandon Marsh returned this weekend, so starting to get a little bit healthier. But the one guy that we've talked about on this podcast, Chris has said many times that they could ill afford to lose. They have lost, and that's JT Realmuto, who will be out for 4 weeks with a knee injury. I have the All-Star game as July 18th. I think that's probably a more realistic target. I don't see them really bringing him back, a week before the All-Star break if they can get that extra stretch in there. But scale of 1 to 10, what are your concerns about the JT Realmuto injury? We'll start with Chris.
2. I just feel like I would be more concerned if we didn't already hear of him doing the exercise bike and moving around without really anything on his leg earlier today before the game with the players and stuff. So it seems like he's very much a fast healer, or at least the situation maybe isn't as serious as we thought it would be or could be. But I'm at this point from those things, I'm not concerned.
Al?
3, only because it's the catcher position, and we obviously don't really have, we've talked about this for weeks about how Stubbs, doesn't really move the needle as far as being a backup, but then again, who does in this league as far as a backup catcher is concerned? So 3, only because if it sounds like this is no big deal. Dombrowski already said that if he needed to, he would play through this anyway. Just the thought of it being a knee and you're a catcher and, there's a lot of wear and tear on your knee as it is, your knees. If this is something that maybe creeps up again later on in the season, but it's really low for me because it sounds like it's really not much. It's just like, hey, let's get him some rest. We have the cushion. We can afford to give him the rest. So let's give it to him.
Yeah, I'll go even lower than you guys. I'm going to mark it down as a 1. And I think at the end of the day, there's a chance that this may actually be a positive for this group. This guy has logged more innings behind the plate than anybody over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's not close. And I think if this injury is as minor as they're making it seem, a month off may do all the help in the world for him come playoff time, being a little fresher, not having caught, 125, 130 games over the course of the season. Maybe that number all of a sudden sits at 105, 110. And he has the opportunity to just be a little bit more fresh in the regular season. And at the end of the day, this is the benefit of building a 10-game lead in your division, is that you have the ability to, is this something we want to do? We want to, guess what? Get it done. Let's get it done and get it fixed. Same thing with Trey Turner. 6-week window, maybe we could have pushed it and maybe it could have been 4.5 weeks. Take the full 6. We don't need any re-injuries. We have this monster lead in the division. We're going to ride it out. Now, in the short term, I think you've seen some of the effects of not having him. Could be coincidence, could be not, but we saw last week Wheeler, Nola, and Sanchez all got lit up in their starts. So I think you're starting to see that a little bit more on that end. In the game I was at, you have the cross-up between Kerkering and Marchand at the end of the game. Obviously, that probably doesn't happen with JT back there. So I think you're seeing some of the short-term effects, especially from the pitching staff perspective. But again, it's with this lead. Get right. All that matters is the playoffs at this point.
I would say, Seltzer, I think as far as the pitching is concerned, what you were just saying, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they were on an international road trip.
I agree.
And shame on baseball for having them go from London and then back on the road still after that. That's kind of, I think that's ridiculous for any team to do that. Not just because it's the Phillies, any team. I think that that's too much. So I think that played a big part of it. Those guys are obviously not as bad as they've been the last couple games. I think that there's some definite fatigue and jet lag going on with those guys, especially the in the Boston series for sure.
Yeah. I agree. I think it looked like a tired baseball team.
Yeah.
And not only was it a tired baseball team, we mentioned Trey and Barsh coming back. Some of these guys are a little bit cold, and without those 3 guys, when you add JT in that mix, the bottom of that lineup gets a little bit thin, especially now that Dahl is cooled off. Edmundo Sosa is still playing well, but not nearly hitting at the clip he was, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So all of a sudden now you're just the bottom 4 guys in that lineup. They come up and they're outs waiting to happen.
So, but Sosa has done a great job. I mean, I know this morning I saw that they were working him out in the outfield before the game today. I think in left field. So there are potential plans for him to join the platoon or whatever they're going to do out there. I know we'll get into it in a different segment later on, but I think the outfield at this point is going to need to get addressed. But speaking of good things that come out of Real Muto, how about the hero we didn't know we needed, Rafael Marchand? 4 hits tonight.
Yeah. Bomb, right?
Big home run on against
Baltimore.
It was right, Baltimore. Yeah, on Friday night. Yeah. So hey, I like the kid. I think he's good. He just hit a dot. He threw to second base to throw out a base stealer earlier tonight on a strikeout, throw out, double play. He's a nice little player, man. I mean, obviously he's not going to take Remuto's job, but he damn sure should take Stubbs' job. Yeah, I'll say that right now.
He does a good job behind the plate. He's a switch hitter, which is obviously always good to have a switch hitter on your team.
And he's not that young. I mean, he's been talked about for a few years now. He's a professional baseball player. I mean, he's not a guy. He's been in the minors for a while, and he's been up and down a few times when they needed him over the last few years. I would not be opposed to seeing him get a gig because, after all, we talked about this before. What are you really getting if you go out and make a move for a backup catcher?
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to waste.
He's old.
Not that a catcher is going to cost you anything, but you don't want to waste any assets to acquire somebody who realistically you might not even get in that bat in the playoffs.
Did you see what Dombrowski said the other day about the teams that are? He said 3 teams specifically that called him this past weekend about potentially seeing if we had interest in specific catchers that they had.
Oh, really?
And he was like, I mean, that should. First of all, if somebody's calling you to ask if you have interest in a player, that probably means that they want to offload that player for a specific reason. So, of course, that's not interest there on our part at that point in time.
Right. Makes sense.
It's not fantasy sports, So I just thought that was interesting, though, that he said that was pretty a lot of GMs they're tight-lipped. So for him to even say what that amount of teams and to say that comment, I thought it was pretty interesting.
For sure. And I do think, to your point, Chris, I do think they'll be active in the outfield at the trade deadline. They obviously send Rojas down today to make room for Turner, which pretty much leaves you with a platoon in center field and left field at this point. So I think they'll be looking for some stability there. I
did see a rumor of, which I hope is not true, Tanner Scott and Jazz Chisholm.
Oh.
Jazz.
Now, Tanner Scott has been lights out the last 2 years, but Jazz, I'm good on that.
Jazz got cancer attitude on him.
I'm good with that. I don't want that. But Tanner Scott, he's not a lefty though, so that's the one thing about that. But he's got some stuff.
I do think they need another lefty. You don't think they need a lefty?
Well, actually, with Soto struggling, maybe.
Yeah, I just look at it as
actually.
I look at it as Jose is kind of in the closer role, even though he has not been as good as he has been the last 2 years. He's your closer by default, I would say, or 1A. And Strahm has pitched good enough now that he should be a whole inning guy. Like, he's not a lefty specialist at this point. He is a 7th inning guy or a full inning guy. And then all of a sudden now I need a lefty specialist to get a lefty out. And again, I don't necessarily think Soto's that guy.
I could see them doing the Lewis Robert trade and adding one of their bullpen guys in the deal for to bring both of those teams, Robert and one of the bullpen guys from the White Sox here. I could see that happen.
I think Robert would be a really good fit, but he's going to have a lot of suitors.
With the way the bullpen's been throwing, though, it's like it's setting up perfectly for the way Rob Thompson likes to play the pen in the postseason, where he's not afraid to go to Alvarado in the 7th and then go to, whoever's left in the 8th and whoever's left in the 9th. With the way Strahm is pitching this year and the way Hoffman's pitching and even the way Kirkring's pitching, I'm not as nervous about that scenario as I have been the past 2 seasons.
No, Alan, you know what else? All those guys you named, not only do we have confidence in them, but they have confidence when they get on the mound. Like, you can see almost like a cockiness where they're just like, you're not getting a hit when I'm out here.
Strom is electric out there, dude.
Yeah.
He is like Mr. Personality all of a sudden out there.
And Hoffman's turning into that too a little bit. He's getting some swag where he's just like I said, you're not getting a hit. I mean, both those guys' ERAs are ridiculous, and their whips.
And I don't want to jinx it, Chris, but Dominguez has been good since the beginning of
Yes, he has.
Well.
Yeah,
he's starting to find himself.
Yeah, way to call that out. He has. He's been really good. And I mentioned this to you guys before. He's a guy, if he gets hot, that makes us even that much better. I mean, if we can, like, that's almost like getting a trade piece because he's been that bad before. So if he can turn that around, it's almost like a whole new player.
Dude, if you have 5 reliable arms in the pen with the starting rotation we have, I mean, forget it, dude. Like, they're the best team in the NL by far right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Dodgers just lost Mookie Betts. I think they lost a pitcher as well. I'm just drawing a blank on who it is.
Yamamoto's hurt.
Who is it?
Yamamoto,
correct. Yeah, Yamamoto's hurt. So they're a little banged up as well. We'll see them in a couple of weeks. Early July, the Dodgers come in.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I want to transfer to one other Philly-based topic, just some quick comments. I don't know if you guys caught it on, I believe it was Friday. Joel Embiid swung by NBA Countdown to bring his lovely personality. And you want to talk about the guy just has a foot that can't keep his mouth shut at any point in time. The immaturity of Joel Embiid just continues to surface time and time again. And Al, I see you shaking your head, so I'm going to let you run with it as far as your thoughts on his appearance on NBA Countdown.
I can't believe we even have to talk about this. This guy he's so clueless. And how old is he now? He's 30, 31 years old. How long has he been in this league now? Like, he's up there talking. He's not playing. He's not dressed. He's not on the court. He's talking next to another perennial loser in Paul George. And he's up there just flapping his gums about the Boston Celtics, the team that has owned him his entire career. I just don't understand what good came out of that other than him lining his pockets with a one-day paycheck, which he doesn't need, if we're being honest, obviously. So why isn't he look, I'm not one of those guys that thinks that, like, oh, just because he's in the NBA, it has to be ball is life 24/7. You have to be honing your craft. I'm not like that. But to do that, man, like, he just takes this troll character too far sometimes. And I've said this before when it comes to trolling his own fans. And that's what he did. He trolled his own fans, the Philadelphia fan base, with that appearance.
First of all, just to counter one part, I don't think he got paid for it. Did you hear how he got on?
No, I didn't.
So he was at the game. He was at the game with, I want to say, Josh Harris and Tim. What's his name? Bontemps.
Bontemps, yeah.
Told him that Paul George was on Countdown, and then he basically said, "Oh, okay, I'll go on," and just walked on the set because Paul George was on the set. Listen, my biggest issue with it is this: is he gets asked the question, is Boston becoming a dynasty, on the verge of becoming a dynasty? And I get that they're your rival team, and that you don't like them, and he vocalized that as well. But don't sit here and say that you don't think that they're going to be a dynasty because everybody in the East was hurt, and then say, myself included. You're always freaking hurt.
Right.
And Boston is on the verge of going 80-21 this year. So you can say that, they haven't beat that many teams in the playoffs. Don't discredit their season. They are 80-21 if they win tonight. That's an absurd rate, and they're the best team in the East by far. And you said it out. They've whooped you every year. You haven't put up a fight against them once. Just show eat some humble pie. Say they had an unbelievable season. They're clearly the team to beat in the East, and we're going to do our best in order to try and take them off their throne next year. That's all you have to say. Why do you have to point out again that, oh, well, they only got through because everybody's hurt, and I was hurt too. Give me a break, dude.
You two sound like the old Muppet dudes. Give it a break. Listen, this guy can't even enjoy his summer, all right? You guys want him to sit in the house and twiddle his thumbs and shoot whatever the hell else, foul shots or whatever the fuck you guys want him to do all the time, all right? It's like, let the guy breathe. Do you hate the Celtics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, have they won a championship last year?
The Celtics?
Yeah.
They're winning one tonight.
Did they win it last? You don't know that.
No.
Did they win it? Did they win it last year?
No.
Okay, so isn't a talk of a dynasty premature?
Sure.
So then what is wrong with what he said? We have this mentality in this city where we want guys on our teams to be honest and be themselves. And the Phillies do that right now. Bryce Harper, all the other guys, the daycare with Bohm and Stott, everybody loves it. When Joel does it, he's wrong. He should have said this. Joel's a grown-ass man. If he wants to go out there and talk about Fraggle Rock, he has every right to do that.
He doesn't back it up. He doesn't back it up.
But that's not what the question was. The question he was asked a question and he answered it.
Sure. Then if you would have said exactly what you said, I'd be fine with it. Don't sit here and say that they're not a dynasty because the teams they beat this year all had injury issues. That's not the answer as to why they're not a dynasty. And don't
That's him talking because he doesn't like the Celtics.
And don't sit there and throw in and me at the end to build in another excuse as to why you didn't get the job done.
Was he hurt?
He's always hurt.
He's always
But
hurt.
he was hurt.
And guess what? Did he get surgery at the end of the season? Couldn't have been that bad. He milks it.
He milks it. Okay.
Yes,
Well, either way, the guy can't do anything right.
Because he doesn't.
He can't do anything right. It's not like the only thing I think that he did wrong was the Paul George, the questionable tampering on the set. Other than that, there's other guys in the league that would do very similar things. And even if they didn't, that's what makes him unique. Is he does answer the questions truthfully, and he does show his true personality. And that's why it is endearing for him as a Philadelphia athlete, because he still is himself. And I have no problem with that. You can agree or disagree with what he says, but the fact that he still says it and shows his true personality, I have no problem with that.
Yes, what's the saying? Sometimes it's better to leave your mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and everybody realizes it, or whatever the hell the saying goes. Like that's Joel, man. And listen, this is another year now. Now we're in the 2024 season, right? Now we can add Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, and honestly, we can even add Karl-Anthony Towns to the list of players that have taken their teams to conference finals before Joel Embiid has.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, tonight, maybe you could say Jaden Springer is going to get a ring before Joel does.
Sam Cassell, too.
That's a whole other. But again, if you listen to this podcast, you know very well my platform is an organizational problem, not a Joel Embiid problem.
Yes, everyone knows you're an apologist. You're right.
I'm not an apologist.
You are an apologist.
I'm not.
You're right.
I've sat up here and been critical of the guy before. I'm not an apologist, but to sit up there and say what a grown-ass man should say is stupid. The guy he asked a question, he answered it honestly. What else is he supposed to do?
A lot more Sixers talk to come in the coming weeks, a big off season.
I'm glad he said he hates Boston. I want my guys to hate Boston.
Did you know? I did not know that they changed the rules this year. And once the NBA season's over, you can start to re-sign your own free agents. So we may start to see some of the proverbial bricks or get laid. I don't know, proverbial bricks. I don't think that's right.
What?
I don't know what I'm saying, but the foundation for some of the offseason may start as early as tomorrow.
I thought you were saying we were going to re-sign Tobias, talking about bricks.
Could you imagine if that's the Woj bomb that drops tomorrow?
So how about this?
Tobias Harris.
If Tobias's market was 2 years, $16 million.
I'm done.
And he's not a guaranteed starter.
No.
We've seen enough.
Okay,
No.
I agree with you. I just want to see what your guys' heads were at.
Like he would probably at that 2 years. Are you talking about $8 million a year or $16 million a year?
No, he would make 8.
Okay,
I'm saying 16 million.
He would bring value at that number, but I've seen enough. I don't need to see it anymore on my team.
I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna get more than that still.
He
I
will.
think someone's gonna pay him more. So I think Detroit's gonna pay him more than that, because why not? They have the money and there's no one else that's gonna go there.
I've heard Orlando as well as another team that may be after him.
I could see that too. But they're big on Paul George.
Yes, and Paul George would fit them a lot more than.
And guess what are you going to say after 2025 when an Orlando Magic team led by Markelle Fultz and Tobias Harris take them to the Eastern Conference Finals before Joel Embiid takes the Sixers? Then what? Well,
first of all, Fultz might not even be on the Magic next year. He's a free agent coming up, so who knows? But Banchero he's coming. But no, I mean I listen. It might happen. It very well might happen. I'm not saying with Orlando, but with whoever else. But I don't know. Go to the next. I can't.
Let's get into segment 2 tonight. This is something we've been toying with for some time to talk about, but it's finally gotten to the point where it needs to have a discussion. Caitlin Clark's WNBA career has not gotten off the start we would expect it to. She's averaging 16 and 6 in her rookie season, but only 38% from the floor, 32% from three, while the Indiana Fever are off to a 5-10 record. But beyond that, guys, she's been left off the USA Olympic team, and she has been just continued to be abused physically by a lot of the other girls in this league, something that we really kind of didn't expect to see. This past weekend, she was clubbed again by Angel Reese, who seems to have a ton of jealousy and issues to deal with her, resulting in a flagrant 1. Are you shocked with the treatment that Caitlin Clark has gotten coming to the WNBA?
I would love to be able to live in a world to say that I'm shocked, but I'm truly not. I'm honestly disgusted at the way her teammates and the franchise, the Indiana Fever, have not protected her. Every time she's getting beaten and thrown to the ground, and look, it's basketball. I get it, man. It's a contact sport. It's a physical game, and this is under the spotlight because it's Caitlin Clark. But how is there not someone that is out there defending her? They're not over there running, jumping to help her up. They're not getting into the face of these players. This Kennedy, I can't remember on Chicago, and Angel, and like, how are there not players on Indiana's side that are coming to the aid of Caitlin Clark? And I'll tell you how there isn't and why there isn't. And we're not going to be able to make it through the segment without making this about two things. And so we're going to have to do it. We can't dance around it. Race and sexuality. And it's two things that have been getting talked a lot about now lately. And the WNBA is predominantly an African-American league, and predominantly it's a lot of homosexual players. And I think that those players kind of have almost like a Band of Brothers type deal, where if you're not in this club, you're out. And they're probably, and there has to be this jealousy that this little white girl from Iowa comes in, all of a sudden it's all about her. It's all about her. It's Caitlin Clark this, Caitlin Clark that. And even though it should be looked at as good for the league, I understand why, as a minority, there might be that jealousy where, why is it her? Why can't it be me? Why, the girl that's busting her ass, for the last 7 years in the WNBA, flying coach, eating shit in Holiday Inns, averaging probably 20 a game that no one knows their name. I get why there's that jealousy, but this is why this league will never become anything, because there's a virus on the inside. It can't. It's never going to get there because the players won't allow it to get there. They don't necessarily want it to get to that next level because they want it to be this fraternity, this group of, these are the girls that are in and they're in, and the girls that are out, they're out. And that's the way it's going to be. That's how I view it. That's how I see it. And I'll close with this. Just one quick story, because I had a colleague whose daughter was D1 All-American. I won't say, where, what, anything like that, because I don't know who's listening. I won't, They went to the WNBA. They got drafted. They would constantly call my colleague and say, I can't do this. I'm getting bullied night in and night out by my own teammates. They want no parts of me. And this was a white girl. And one year in the league, she was in Europe. One year. She's like, I cannot do this. It's miserable. No one wants me here at practice. They leave me out, all this and that. And it took her 1 year to realize, I got to go. I got to pack my bags. And again, D1 All-American.
Well, Al, I will say the part when you said about not ever making anything, I can't say that. I mean, the league has been around quietly at this point, but it's been around 27 years. And for all intents and purposes, it seems like, they're about to expand. So like there's strides being made forward for the league. Now, if they, are they going to ever be the NBA? No. But if they can still be even a percentage of that, for at least at best for someone like, a hoop head like me or you or anybody else to just watch in the NBA offseason, that's a win. All right. And I think that, no disrespect to Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, Sue Bird, Taurasi, even all those folks. These girls now are just like in men's sports. As time goes, bigger, faster, stronger. These girls are bigger, faster, stronger. And I think that I feel like Caitlin Clark, in my my gut tells me Caitlin Clark is like the Moses at this point of this league. Like she's going to be the start of. I mean, there's already girls like Cameron Brink, Sabrina Ionescu, the other girls, all also white, who have gotten positive attention. So I don't really know about it being a race thing. I think it's an entitlement thing that Clark. I think those players feel like the country has put her as like a great white hope, but I think they think that she's embraced that, and that's the difference. Brink, Ionescu, those girls, Paige Becker soon, probably next year, those girls don't seem to have played into that. And I say played, meaning off the court, into that role. Caitlin Clark seems to have, in a way, embraced it, being that, the white girl from the Midwest and the whole All-American and this and that. And I think that you are right that there is a part of that culture in that league that is saying, we've been here for years. We can hoop. You're new here. You got to earn your stripes. And there's a part of that that's probably, regardless of gender, race, not gender, orientation or race. But there are probably some that it does matter to. And hopefully, if that's the case, those people get out the league soon anyway, because that's not the way to look at it, in my opinion. But I think that the other thing that we're not talking about is when those girls or women push around Clark in those spots, they know how big she is. It gives them a platform too. And so they're the person that's going to be on the news. They're the person that's going to be on the ticker. They're the person that's going to be in the story. Like, no one knew who Kennedy Carter was, and now we know who she is because of what she's done with Caitlin in those games. So that gives them a little taste of fame in 15 minutes of spotlight. And I think that that's not getting talked about enough, because that might be the biggest issue. That might be the biggest thing that some of these women are seeing is like, all right, I've been trying out here and hooping on my own and trying to do my thing and working hard, and people don't really know who I am still. So maybe if I knock this chick out that everybody loves, it'll get me some attention. And then now people will watch games to see what I do.
You stole my point. You stole my point, Chris. That's exactly where I was heading with this. And, Chris, you mentioned some of the other names, Cameron Brink and some of the other rookies that are coming to the league or being great players.
And these girls are good.
They are good. But the difference, Chris, is think of what Steph Curry did for the NBA. It was bombs away, shoot from anywhere, must-see TV. Caitlin Clark brings that aspect to the WNBA. Fire from anywhere, come off a screen, 35 feet, let it fly. These other girls, despite what Angel Reese is going to say that, they're not all just watching for one person. Listen, nobody's watching Angel Reese play basketball if it's not for Caitlin Clark. I promise you that, because not as many people know who the hell she is because they weren't tuned in to the college game when Caitlin Clark played Angel Reese. And they're not completely aware of that. And she needs to be more self-aware of that, because at the end of the day, I promise you that Angel Reese's popularity is on the hinges and the back of what Caitlin Clark has done in the college basketball game and her being aligned in the same timeline.
I will say Angel and that LSU team embraced the heel role. And a lot of folks did watch them last year and this year because of that, because they wanted to watch them lose. They wanted to watch Rome burn. And that was a big part of it. But you don't want to be known, like you don't want to get the attention through that way. I'm sure they would tell you like any attention is good attention. But now here we are where you've made the pinnacle, you're in the league, and you're still getting negative attention.
But they were able to be those heels because you had the face in Caitlin Clark. Without that face, I don't think that heel attention is the same as what it is now. With that said, you mentioned WNBA survived for 27 years. There was a report in the I think it was the Wall Street Journal this week. They're going to lose $50 million this year. The WNBA is not around if it's not subsidized by the NBA.
Oh, well,
on average, they're losing $10 million a year. So let's not pretend like they've been successful for 27 years.
No, I'm just saying that they've been around, and they're still like the players are getting better. The expansion is happening, that kind of stuff. But to your point, as far as financials are concerned, yeah.
And real quick, because that's what I meant, Chris, when I said that it's not going to be around, because it's because of the financials. That's what I was referring to, not because of the play on the court.
And at the end of the day, the WNBA season to take off and run was this season. This is the season where they had the most excitement coming into it. because you had the Caitlin Clark rookie season. And these girls have done everything in their power to sabotage it and make it completely unwatchable. And it's a shame for them that their cable deal wasn't before this season, because they probably would have got a lot more for it than they're going to. But they took the opportunity to put themselves on a better platform, and all they've done is destroy it with jealousy and I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Just seeming coming off as bitter and insecure and doing just not embracing what could have been a huge step for their league. And they're doing exactly what you said, Chris. They're trying to make their names in individual ways by being physical and pushing around Caitlin Clark, who, by all means, and I'll give her the credit, she's handled it with a ton of grace and not going and cried about it to that resort. So, to me, if there was a season that was going to push them to the next level, this was it, and they've dropped the ball already. Because, again, you're looking at a women's basketball, which is not a huge driver to begin with. And second of all, it's also in the middle of the summer. So the season for them to succeed in, they need a lot for everything to go right. And they're not aligning any of those things up for anybody to necessarily want to watch them.
And I'll give you something else. And I can say this as a black man in America. America doesn't want to watch a league of angry black women. And that's what a lot of them, like you said earlier, Al, that's a lot of these women that are how they are coming off. Now, they may not really be that, but that's how they're coming off. And so when you have, and not only are they coming off that way, they're doing it to a rookie, white, all-American, Midwest girl.
Right.
And that's what these girls aren't. I hate saying girls because I know they're adults or women, the whole thing. But that's what these women aren't understanding. And I think that's where the immaturity comes is as a culture, we need to do better than that. The story should be the play on the court, not that we're bullying this girl. Because there's people out there who take that story and they add their own legs to it, and it becomes something totally different. And that's the problem that I have with it, is that I feel like sometimes in this country, we want the support of others, but then at the same time, when it comes to helping ourselves, we don't do that as strong as other groups do. And that's the problem that I have, that as black people and as a black man, we need to do better than that.
And just like in anything else, Chris, it only takes a couple bad apples to ruin it for everybody. Sure. Because it only takes 2 or 3 of these incidents to happen before that reputation starts to churn itself downhill and gain momentum.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I want to be clear. I'm not saying that the WNBA is a league of black women that are just angry and snap, because that's not the case. But there's, in these instances, that's who's been the ones that have roughed up Caitlin Clark. There hasn't been any other white, players that have done it, or Hispanic players, or whatever the case may be. It's been the black girls, the black players, and that comes off as I know, like we all know, there's people in this country that will see that and they will run with it from their own narratives, and it becomes a whole different thing.
And to show even, and I hate to keep coming back to Angel Reese, but she's obviously seems to be the ringleader of all this. But to your point, is you have the play where, what was the girl's name who pushed her over? Kennedy Carter knocks her over. And then you see the whole Chicago Storm bench celebrating as if it was, when she is knocked down from behind, as if it was something they talked about doing in the pregame huddle. And to me, that just looks like bullying, regardless of race. That's all it looks like, is bullying.
And even if that was the case back in the day in the NBA or any other league, when that would happen, whether it be a rookie, like a hazing thing or whatever the case may be. I know Kevin Garnett would tell stories before, when he was a rookie. He was 17 years old in 95, didn't go to college. And I think it was, I want to say it was Kevin Willis or somebody that ilk who gave him a hard foul one play in a preseason game and yelled, "Not ready," right? And he never forgot that. And so there's things like that happen and go on. It's going to happen. It's not going to stop. I'm not saying it needs to stop. But at the same time, girls like Angel Reese, like, you're making yourself the story. Like the whole unapologetically me and all this kind of stuff. Basically, what you're saying is it's cool to be, like I can be bitchy and I can be this and I can be that, but that's me. So deal with it. And that's not the best role model type. Like for my daughters, I wouldn't want them to look up to a girl like that. I want them to look up to a girl that's about their business and not going to be about like, well, I'm not willing to change to fit. And like, I'm not saying you got to change, but at the same time, like read the room. The room is different than it used to be 5, 10, 15 years ago for you and where you come from. You're now above that. You're now in a corporate world because the WNBA, like you said, is subsidized by the NBA, and that's billionaires, not millionaires, billionaires. They don't care about your unapologetically me. They'll kick your ass out in the New York Minute. All right. They're looking for something to get you out of there. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about that we need to do better as Black people and as people of color. That to me, and that may be not popular to some people, but that's how I feel is that they like she needs to understand like if even if you don't want to be a role model, Al, you know as well as I do, teachers, we're role models, whether we want to be or not. And we have to wear that every day. And they're no different. They have to wear that every day.
Yes, you took because I was going to touch on the unapologetically me saying, which I hate because it's become an excuse. It's become a synonym for ignorant and immature. And look, Angel Reese she's what, 21 years old? We all were idiots when we were 20.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone. The difference is she's in front of national cameras. But yes, at some point you have to grow up. You just said it all. You said everything I wanted to say because Angel Reese, I think she has the ability and she has the talent to be a fantastic basketball player.
Yeah.
Without all the mouthing off and all the attitude, all the jealousy that just pours out of her. It's just so obvious. And she doesn't need that. But that's what I think. I mean, look, if the WNBA can't capitalize on Caitlin Clark, who, as Adam said, is literally the Steph Curry now of women's basketball, then forget it. What can they do? What will they do? And let's all things aside. At the end of the day, it's women's basketball, and the majority of sports audience is men, and men are just not going to tune into women's.
And that's what I'm. That's exactly right.
They're just not.
And that's what I'm saying. It's America in general, black, white, whatever.
Right.
They're not going to want to watch that.
Right.
And so you look back. You look at Dawn Staley. You look at I said Lisa Leslie earlier. Cheryl Swoops, Tina Charles, all the Tamika Catchings, all these great Black women basketball players. Not one of them had that mentality. Not one of them showed that immaturity the way that she does.
Right.
And they've been successful and respected.
They all had grace. She
Yes.
lacks that grace right now. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe she'll grow up. I hope she does.
I hope she does too.
Hopefully not before it's too late. All right, guys. There's one other national topic that we wanted to at least discuss before getting to segment 3 tonight. We'll go through it pretty quickly here. The U.S. Open was this past weekend. We did our preview last week, Chris. Bryson DeChambeau, Liv's finest, outlast Rory McIlroy to win by 1 with an epic up and down on the 18th hole at Pinehurst number 2. Rory misses 2 short putts on I think it was 15 and 18, if I'm not mistaken, but bogeying 3 of the last 4 holes before gagging it up and leaving Pinehurst in a little bit of a pissy mood, let's say.
Say the least.
Al, I know this brought you
smile on my face.
So I'm gonna throw it to you.
What a happy Father's Day it was to watch Rory McIlroy, that brat, give up a 2-stroke lead with 5 to play.
That putt he missed was a joke. I would have made that putt
on the 14th tee box. He was up 2 strokes, right?
On the 15th tee, he was at -8, and -6 won the tournament, and he wasn't even in a playoff. Yeah.
The only thing, guys, you know me, right? The only thing I like more than being right is being able to say I told you so. And and if you've been listening to this pod, I've said from day one that Rory he's an entitled, spoiled brat. And did he show his true colors like never before than when they showed him at the clubhouse watching DeChambeau make that putt sulking, turning around, and hightailing it the hell out of there, getting into his car and going home, and then releasing a statement that he's now not going to play golf for a few more weeks. He's going to miss another elevated event next week, which are supposed to be these events that he fought for to bring more eyes to the tour that he loves so much, because it's all about the tradition of the game and it's all about the PGA. It's not about the money when he's the one that's making the hundreds of millions of dollars on endorsements and probably, back alley deals. And you also know in the same ilk that I've been a Bryson guy. I was a Bryson guy early on.
You turned on Bryson now. You turned on him.
Here's what I did turn for a little bit, because he was, and everyone did, and he admits that it was right to turn him, because he was being a little bit of a cocky asshole for a while about all of his little analytics and all of his his tweaking, all the trying to beat the game of golf scientifically. But at the end of the day, I was the one that stood by him and said that the whole him and Brooks thing, it was more of Brooks was the asshole, and he was just doing him. He was just this golf dork. And everybody was on Brooks' side. All the golf bros were on Brooks' side with their Zins, packing their Zins and drinking their Mick Ultras and heading to the course with their boom boxes. They were all on Team Brooks. And I told her, I said, Bryce is not that bad of a dude. The tour is just painting him this way. At the end of the day, look what happened. Bryson's turning around. All the stories that came out this week is about how fantastic of a guy he is, how he sticks around, how he stuck around after the tournament was over, signed every single autograph from every single patron that stuck around to watch him. And now all of a sudden he's on top of the world. And where's Rory McIlroy? He's sulking, putting out statements, having to refute rumors about him, cheating on his wife and this and that. And I'm here for all of it. I got called, what did I get called? A bell end on Twitter by Irish Golf, because I was accusing Rory of being a brat. I love this. The only thing I would have loved more is if Jason Day could have cashed me a check.
Yeah, Al, I've been right there with you with the anti-Rory sentiment, but I will say I was anti-Bryson also. The whole bro mentality for me, I just wasn't feeling that. But I told you guys yesterday, he's definitely gained some respect. I gained some respect for him with that whole situation. But to play devil's advocate with both of you guys, as amazing and as awesome and as cool as it seemed yesterday, all the things he did with the fans and his friends and family that were there and all that kind of stuff, do you think it was overkill to go above and beyond to show the world that he's not the guy we thought he is, or we think he is, or was?
I don't think so, because I watch his YouTube channel pretty regularly, and he's that dude on his YouTube channel too. He's literally just a golf dork. He just loves golf. He's really overly friendly in the videos to everyone that's on his video. I think that's just his personality. I don't think he knows how to be any other way. That's all he knows. I mean,
and he definitely didn't have when he said the whole thing about the trophy yesterday, and everybody should touch it because they've all been on this journey with it. And I thought it was just all winner speak and all that kind of stuff. And then I saw this morning a video where he literally walks through all the people and lets them touch the trophy. And I'm like, I don't even know if I would have did that. That's a lot. Safety reasons, security reasons, health reasons, all that kind of stuff. I'm not doing all that.
But think about how many people you'd want to celebrate with if you got to the pinnacle of your career, right? Of Chris, you're an author. What if your book made the New York Times bestseller list? You'd want to celebrate with everyone, dude. Yeah, all your friends, all your family, right?
Everybody can touch the laptop.
That's my point. That was my point. Is imagine you won the U.S. Open, Al or Chris. Who would you want to celebrate with? Your friends and your family.
Yep.
I'm being honest. I don't think Bryson has friends and family. I think he was sitting there looking for people to celebrate this occasion with. And I think I'm not trying to get overly deep. I think he's trying to find himself as a person. And I don't think he has a great inner circle. You saw the first group he went over to was 7 bros who were just jumping up and down, who were probably just riding his coattails. Yeah. I think they said he hung out at the course until 12:30 last night. So I think he's kind of lost as a person, and then thus he becomes this golf nerd. And he's just hanging around. Hey, who wants to touch the trophy? Nobody leave because I want to celebrate with somebody. I don't really have much else.
What Celtics, that's a great point. And that's kind of what I'm getting at when I asked that devil's advocate question is like, is he going above and beyond to show others that he's actually a good dude so that he can get in better graces with people and be able to have those celebrations and gain those connections and friends and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't watch the YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. But all I would say is as seeing that, it was cool to see someone at that level, at that pinnacle of his life, say like, I want the world basically to be my friends and family and my party, my entourage. And that was cool because that was refreshing. We don't ever see that from people when they achieve something so high. And plus it's golf. So anyone that's picked up a golf club, he's us. Right. In that moment, he's us. He's the guy or the woman. If you're a female player, like you win the trophy, you win the Masters, you win the US Open, the whole thing. What would you do? What are you going to do? That's what we're going to do. And that's what he did.
Just think about how hard for a second it takes for anyone to become a professional athlete in any sport, right? Like how much he had to work and grind as a kid. And think about that now in the lens of we know him to be this nerd, this like science nerd. And I don't use that in a derogatory sense.
No.
I use that in terms of like he's into engineering and he's into trying to break the game. He was like that as a kid, I'm sure. And I'm sure he wasn't very social. Look, I don't know this for a fact, but just taking what you see as him as a person now, you have to imagine he was this obsessive about the game of golf as a teenager when you're making friends and you're making those connections. And he probably rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because of that. And now he's finally surrounded by people that can appreciate that with him, whether or not it's fake, whether or not it's a bunch of bros who they've been along for the ride for the last few years, whether or not they're acting. But there's probably now some people in his life that are on that wavelength and that level that they want to live golf the way he does. I don't mean no pun intended, but they want to every second of every day to be about golf and to be about how can I get better and how do I 3D print my irons and make them the same size so that I'm getting an edge on everybody else. And I bring my dew point hygrometer out to the golf course to check the dew point to see if I have to hit it this way or that way. I think he's finally hitting that comfort zone. And we saw that in the culmination of him. I've never seen somebody gyrate like that on a green than I did when he hit that putt on 18 to win it.
Yeah. And look, the up and down from the bunker was elite.
That was an immaculate shot.
Unbelievable shot.
Especially considering what we just saw with Rory. I'll give my 2 cents with Rory just because I know, Al, you touched on a lot of it. I just wanted to chime in. For him to not do any media after the event, I understand – it's an emotional time. You choked it up. You missed 2 putts inside of 4 feet. I think he had made 470 straight putts inside of that before the one he missed on 15, I believe it was, or 16. John Vandeveld did media after he blew the British Open. Phil Mickelson did media after he blew the U.S. Open with a triple bogey. Jordan Spieth, we've seen at the Masters, we've seen collapses in these events. And for you to be the face of the PGA Tour and to just go off on your own, it's immature, it's selfish, and it's childish behavior from him. My only defense and my only counter to what you said, I have no issue with him withdrawing this week. The fact that the PGA Tour schedules the Memorial, which is a mentally grueling, really tough test, followed by the U.S. Open, followed by another elevated event. That's just idiotic scheduling by the PGA Tour. And for them doing that, they set themselves up for stuff like this. I have no issue with him withdrawing after the mental anguish I'm sure he's putting himself through. But I do not defend his behavior. And then for him to put out a statement today by just posting something from your cell phone that you typed up, at a minimum, make a video and show that you feel some remorse for the fact that you acted like a child after leaving the event last night.
At a minimum, make a phone call.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about for the public. You can't call everybody in the public.
Well, I'm saying, do you know if he contacted Bryson like afterwards?
No.
Yeah, right. Are you kidding me?
Forget us. That's what he should be doing. He should be going to the guy directly and say, yo, I act like an asshole yesterday. My fault. You know what happened. It's not a justification for it, but that's where my head was at. Congratulations. You're a great champ. You deserved it. Boom. And then if anyone has a problem, you go on post. I talked to Bryson. I already said my piece to him. I apologize. We're good. Period.
Right,
We don't need the apology.
He took attention off of Bryson that should have been put on Bryson by his behavior.
Yeah, you also, dude, you're Mr. Tour. You're the guy that fought for all this, and now all of a sudden you're not doing, you're ducking media. And Adam, I disagree. I think the PGA Tour realizes they have to keep striking while the iron's hot. You have the U.S. Open, one of the probably the top 2-3 tournaments of the year. You got to keep that rolling because you have the Olympics this year. You're going head to head with things. Like, you have to get it all in those June and July dog days of summer months.
Well, I know, but that's fine if you want to do an elevated event after the U.S. Open. That's fine, but the Memorial shouldn't be the week before, and they've changed it already for next year, so they've already set that up, so it's not. But it shouldn't be Memorial U.S. Open elevated event. That's.
I agree with Al. The Memorial part before it, that's whatever. That's one thing, but the events afterwards absolutely should be like high profile tournaments, because especially if you just come off an ending like this, there's a lot of casual fans that are gonna be like, all right, I want to see what this guy does next. Can he back this up? Is Rory going to come back? Is he going to back it up? Is he going to get himself back in the wagon and play better and see what he does with it? And he's just kind of, again, laying an egg, and he's subsiding the pressure, and he's not the only PGA professional player that's going to be at this tournament Thursday. So it's not like they're also taking off. So why does he have the right at that point in time, because he choked, to take off?
Yeah.
Well, I think they all have the right to skip one of them. I think that's part of the contract, unless they've changed it this year.
And he skipped the first one.
Oh, that's true. He did skip
the first one, the Century. Dude, listen, he is at the end. He's an entitled, out of touch brat. That's it.
You hit the nail. You've been on it for a while. I'll tip my cap to that. Any apologies to Pinehurst, because you were pretty critical the first day. What a beautiful event they put on there.
Ooh, I was critical?
Yeah, you said I hate this course.
I didn't like it.
I didn't think I said that, did I?
Somebody sent a text.
Yes,
I didn't like it. I said it because I said like it was. Who did you say last week, Seltzer, that said about the Buick?
Yeah. I think it was Nicholas. Jack Nicholas had said it.
Yeah, and that's how it felt. Like, these guys were just. It was like they were trying to like hit an iron at a moving target. It was not fun to watch. That first round.
I like them getting tested like that once in a while.
I didn't say I hated the course, but I said I felt like it was unfair. Some of those shots where guys were sticking irons to 2 feet and then the ball was off the green.
There was one or two that was borderline unfair, but it was good to see. And like, listen, at the end of the day, Bryson ended up with 6 under. So I think that's the target of what the winner should be for a U.S. Open.
I'm here for like between 5 and 10 under at the U.S. Open. I don't want to see 20 under.
No, like the PGA Championship was a joke.
Right. I want to see between 5 and 10. That's fine. Yeah, I'm cool with Pinehurst, man. I got no beef with Pinehurst.
And I want to say, I don't know about Pinehurst and Bratwurst, I'm all right with though. But I will say that I hate to say this, but I feel like someone needs to address the pink elephant in the room. Is it time for Tiger to just walk away? Like, in the beginning of the first round, he looked like it was hot, it was humid, the whole thing, and he looked okay. He looked healthy. He looked confident. He had birdied the first, I think it was the first hole. He was doing his thing, and then he still just had the wheels fall off. With all that being said in his favor, and I just watched it, and I felt like, at what point in time do you say to yourself, as a great, not even a great, as in a legend,
as a GOAT,
yo, I gotta chill, because now I'm running the risk of looking like an idiot out here with guys. I mean, there were guys at one point in time, I mean, a lot of guys that had no business ever having a better card than Tiger Woods, and they had it by several strokes. I felt bad for the dude.
Let's like put it in layman's terms in regards to how it would be. So let's fast forward our lives. We're 49 years old, right? You're trying to play, let's say, basketball, and you go around once a week, twice a week. You shoot baskets. You play some half court with some guys in your neighborhood, and you do your thing. You were a great basketball player at one point in time, and then 4 times a year you get thrown into a pickup game with 25-year-old dudes that play every single week. And you're expected to all of a sudden be that guy. There's no way. He doesn't play enough competitive golf to even have
But
a
he
chance.
can't.
That's before we factor in that his body is just
I
breaking
was saying,
down
right? He can't.
at an all-time great. This, by all means, I say this nicely, like the Pinehurst is an extremely walkable course. This isn't Bethpage Black where physically he's walking up and down hills all day and he's going to break down. Pinehurst is not a hilly golf course. His body should have been able to hang.
And that's my
You can't
point.
play golf 4 times a year and expect to compete with the best in the world. It's just not going to happen.
No, but there's one thing missing from that comparison, Adam, is that we all, as men, we all do this. We all think that we're going to beat Father Time when it comes to sports. We all think that we're going to do that. But the one thing missing from that comparison is that when it's over for a professional athlete, they'll never hear that roar of the crowd again. So that's I think the part that will keep a guy like Tiger coming back. It's the reason why Ric Flair wrestled until he was 75 years old. You're never going to get that pop again. I think that to me is something that it's got to be hard to walk away from that.
I think he can still play the Masters. I mean, he has the game and the knowledge of Augusta to make the cut some years. There's no question about that. And these other events, it's just a waste of it. I mean, I say a waste of his time.
Do you think that his goal now is to make cuts?
Yes. Maybe not.
No.
Maybe that's that from his fan base. That's the goal of the fan base. I don't know if Tiger thinks that way.
See, I don't know if I don't know. I mean, as a fan of Tigers, I don't, even when he makes the cut, if he's like 8-9 shots out, like there's still, it loses its spark to watch him sometimes because you don't know where the bottom of the pit is, right? We still don't know, like, all right, he made the cut, but he's 8 strokes back, and we got to see what happens Saturday and Sunday. He might end up finishing 15 strokes back. And it's again, it goes back to that question of at what point do you say I can't tarnish my legacy?
I don't think he is, though.
I don't think he'll ever tarnish a legacy because at the end of the day, 10 years from now, we're not going to remember these events.
Right. Golf's a little bit of a different beast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
do you think he would be on like the senior tour?
Yeah, and he's going to dominate it.
If he wants to, like, I don't know if he wants to.
Books. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. See, maybe that's what we need. We need senior Tiger.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, maybe that would
maybe that'll give the fan base some spark.
Bernhard Langer is going to be pissed because Bernhard Langer
is
one shit right now on the senior tour.
With that 12-foot high putter he's got.
And the last thing is this. I mean, we talk about you mentioned Father Time. Tiger's he's going through an ACL reconstruction. He's going through back fusions. He almost lost a leg. He almost died in a car accident. That's not a body that is
literally half man, half machine at this point.
And I give him all the credit in the world for still going out there and doing it physically. I just feel like as a man, part of me is like, dude, like if I was his friend, if his friends were in his ear, like, dude, come on, bro. Like, just let it go. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
I like I'm glad I didn't because around hole like maybe 6 or 7, because I was watching him and I'm just like, he looks and the way everybody else was playing where nobody was taking over yet, everybody was still floating around par or 1 under, and he was right there. And I was like, if he can make this interesting by the end of the day and make this cut and be in the top 10, top 20, who knows? Maybe he could still pull these out every once in a while. But I don't know if he's got it in him anymore. It's the first time where I truly feel like I don't know if he can get to Nicklaus's 18. I don't know if he can do it. And he only needs what, 3 more?
Is that I'm not even sure what it is. There's no
I think
way
he's at 15. I think
it's not going to happen.
There's no way.
It's a shame. He's like so close and yet so far now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he lost so much of his career. With the fair and all that stuff, and then injuries, it just took it out of him.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into segment 3. It's been a couple weeks since we've done a game, and Al and I are going to do battles tonight in a game. They call it Liar now. I think it was originally first.
Who calls it Liar?
The Eagles do.
Dude, that's an awful name.
Full disclosure, I still have never seen this game.
Okay. It used to be on Stump the Schwab. So essentially what it'll be is, Al, Chris is going to give us a topic. Okay. It could range from anything. It could be, let's say, ice cream flavors.
Okay.
And then you and I will go back in an auction style format and I'll say, I can name 5. And if you feel like you can name more than that, you'll say, I can name 8.
Like,
and eventually one of us is going to have to say, okay, prove it. And at that point, we're gonna have to time it. So we'll say, "Are you good?" We'll do a minute. You have a minute to name.
No.
Less.
No, if a game like this, you need to have like precise short time. I'm saying like 20 seconds.
Let's
You
go
can't
30.
be doing a minute.
Let's go 30.
Even that's too. Even like when they do it the
Okay.
Sixers games, it's 15 seconds.
You're the host. It's 20
So
seconds.
we're gonna do 20 seconds. All right. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rounds for you guys ready to go. All right. Seltzer, one of them is ice cream flavors.
How about that?
So we can start off with that off the bat. So
I have one question about the game before we start.
Yeah.
What happens if you give a wrong answer?
So the way it works is the clock runs.
Okay.
So if you say 15 different things and only 8 are right, and you said that I can get 7, then you still would win.
Okay, so the wrong answers don't count for anything.
No, as long as you beat the amount that you said you're going to beat.
Okay.
I feel like you can't do ice cream flavors now, though, because now we both are thinking of them.
Dude, well,
It doesn't matter.
It'll be the model round. We'll just model it off so we can see how it's going to go.
All right.
Okay.
We'll do that. Let me get my
Al, can you pull a timer up on the screen here? Can we?
Well, guest is the host.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was.
I don't think he has presentation powers.
Yeah, he doesn't
Yeah,
have
just say
access.
and-
All right, so wait a second.
which is another conversation for another day. But I was going to do it just on my phone, my thing. If you can't
It'll
get
be
it
good
up
for the viewers to.
Well, I know, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, wait a second. I got something for you here.
And while he's pulling that up, I'll let you guys know if you guys are listening and you're usually follow us on Facebook on the live stream. Facebook has gotten rid of some. They've had some credential issues and are no longer taking certain streams, so we are not on Facebook anymore. So you have to be watching us live on X or Twitter or on YouTube. So stay tuned for those platforms if you used Facebook before.
All right, you guys can see the timer, right?
Timer's there.
There we go.
All
All right. So we're going to go first round ice cream flavors. I'm going to toss it to Seltzer first. How many ice cream flavors can you name in 20 seconds?
How many seconds am I doing?
20.
I can name 10 ice cream flavors.
Ooh, that's a lot. All right, Al, you think you can beat that?
Yeah, I can name 11.
I can
All
do
right.
12.
So I would say it was just gonna be like double dare. We do.
Yeah. It goes back and forth.
I don't know if I can do 13. I'm gonna say go ahead and prove it.
Now, again, for those that don't know, if Seltzer falls short of the amount, Al gets the point.
Well, then he never gets to eat ice cream again. Is what
And he
happens.
never
Whoa.
actually no. What we're gonna do is we're gonna give him onion flavored ice cream. So 20 seconds is on the clock. Ding, ding.
Ready?
All
Set,
right.
Go.
Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, Rocky Road, cookies and cream, cookie dough, butter pecan, coffee,
8 seconds.
pistachio, salted caramel.
All right, time's up. You got 10.
Look
Oh,
at
my
the chocolate chip.
You
I
got
said that, didn't I?
no. You got 10 flavors.
What about
Yeah.
moose tracks?
What about party or birthday cake?
Hey, what about
Birthday
onion?
cake.
Listen,
Onion.
Yes, gave me one.
Every-
Yes, gave me one
everything-
at the beginning.
Everything bagel ice cream. You didn't say that one. All right, so we're gonna go Al with the point for round 1.
Peachy Paterno. All right. No, that was a model round, right?
No, it's still counted.
All right.
Yeah, we're still counting it. All right. So the next one, originally I was going to do order of, whatever, but I'm just going to make it from just what I wrote down. So the next one is we're going to stay with the culinaries here. We're going to go cooking herbs and spices. How many cooking herbs and spices do you think you can name in 20 seconds?
I can name. Oh, Al's first. What'd you say?
8,
I can do 9.
10.
Do it.
Ooh.
All right.
All right. So now, just for the record, if you're naming anything that's like Food Network status, I have it up here just to look it up to control F it on the thing here, so I can verify. I got to listen like tons of them.
I think I got it. I do the cooking in this house. Tell me when to start.
So you said how many, Al?
10.
All right. So you're hold on. So your time starts now.
salt, pepper, paprika, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, sage, rosemary, thyme, parsley.
Woo!
Let's go.
That's 10 in 10.69 seconds.
Let's go, baby.
All
Let's
right.
go.
That was
We ain't
that's
messing around
impressive.
tonight. We ain't messing around tonight, guest.
Well
No,
done.
hey, I'm here for it. So Al's going to take a 2-0 lead here. Some just for ish and giggles, some other notable or non-notable herbs and spices. Notable will be tarragon. Unnotable might be sweet woodruff. Sweet woodruff is out there, or there's some might have a wild thyme at the bars around 2 a.m., or you could be like Al and cooking at 2 a.m. with wild thyme.
I said time.
Yeah,
Do
you
the
did
No,
say
but I'm
that.
saying it's wild. There's a wild thyme
Oh,
versus
all
a regular thyme.
All right. What about
So,
the bay
you know,
leaf? What
some
I got
bay
to
leaf?
put for the bay leaf?
So you got some za'atar, which, believe it or not, my wife knew what it was
I
because
know
she's
za'atar. Yeah.
yeah.
What,
It's
sea salt? Would sea salt have counted, or does that fall on the salt?
I would have counted it. I would have counted it separate from. I mean, not separate from salt. I would have just went with salt.
Oh, what about like cinnamon, curry? I could have done
Yeah,
curry.
red pepper
Curry.
flakes.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Cumin. I'm a big cumin.
Cumin's a good one.
that was good work. That was good work. All right, round 3. Oh, it's gonna be a good one. All right, so 20 seconds. How many country music artists can you name? Country music artists. We're gonna go Seltzer. We're gonna start you off with this one.
I can do 6.
Oh God. I think I can do 7.
What do you think? You think
I
you
can
got
do
8 in
8.
you?
You can do 8.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do 9. Go ahead.
All right, so Seltzer's gonna have to name 8 country music artists. I'll even let you do groups if you want to do groups.
Yeah, I was gonna, yeah. I was
All right,
assuming.
so men, women, or groups. You
Wait,
say-
whoa! Now wait a minute. Now hold on, wait a minute. Now I might have to go 9 here on you. We got groups.
yeah, we'll throw the groups in. I mean, for us 3, that's already hard as it is.
I'll
think I might
try.
be able to do
I'll try to
9.
do individuals. I'll do individuals.
All right, so we'll say we'll for the
And
sake
I'll
of
tell you
this.
the 3. I'll tell you the groups I had in mind afterwards. But go ahead.
All right, so we'll do that afterwards. So 8 country solo artists for Seltzer in 20 seconds. Your time starts now.
Okay, Tim McGraw, Garth Brooks, Casey Musgraves, Carrie Underwood, Kenny Chesney. What the fuck's his name?
Dude,
Blake Shelton, Luke Bryan.
Time
7. That's it.
7.
You didn't get any of the newer guys. You didn't get like
I meant to say Darius Rucker. I forgot him.
Darius Rucker. What about Jelly Roll?
You
I
gotta
thought
go
that was a band.
no, Jelly
That
Roll's
was
a
a
dude.
guy.
You got to go how about that Kane Brown?
Yeah, Kane Brown's a
Or
good one.
the,
Listen, it's all easy when you're sitting on the sidelines.
Yes, Shabuzi.
Shabuzi. Yep.
It's
Yeah,
the song of the summer.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Shadow
Eric,
Whiskey.
Eric, Eric Church.
Eric Church. Listen, it's
Zach
all
Brown.
easy. when
Well,
you
Zach
sit
Brown
here
is the band, so
And Morgan Wallen.
now.
yeah.
Morgan
Morgan.
Wallen.
Yeah, we don't do Morgan Wallen.
Don't sit here and rub it on my face, but you wouldn't step up to the plate.
No, well, wait, I was going to do it with the bands because with bands you got Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah, I was Zach Brown.
You got the band Perry.
I wasn't.
How about the Osborne brothers?
Who is that?
Yeah, see, you know, I knew that. Osborne brothers are out there. How about who else? Shoot, who else?
There's Luke Bryan, and there's another one that sounds just like
Zach
that.
Bryan.
Zach Bryan.
Zach Bryan, yeah.
I'm a big Chris Stapleton fan,
Chris
huge
Stapleton's
Chris Stapleton
good.
fan, but he's not really country. He's more blues and soul.
You didn't say Billy Ray Cyrus?
Miranda Lambert.
See that?
What
Maybe
about
we're all country fans.
What about Bo Bice?
But
Yo, the next pod is going to be country music and hockey.
yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right, we're going to stay with music here. We're going to go with boy bands. So in 20 seconds, and we'll start with you this time, Al, how many boy bands do you think you can name? There is a plethora.
Yes, 7.
9.
You want? Oh, okay.
I don't know if I got more than that. 11.
You can do it.
11 in 20 seconds. That's a lot. Here we go. Al, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, your time starts now.
Boys to Men, In Sync, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, O-Town, the Jonas Brothers, the stupid British kids. What's their names? Belle Biv DeVoe. Does that count?
Yes.
I'm not going to get it. Who are the British kids?
Actually, Belle Biv DeVoe would not count, but
Yeah.
New Edition would have counted.
One Direction you were thinking of.
One Direction.
BTS. LFO.
There's so many. Yeah.
There is. It's
New
tough.
Kids on the
It's
Block.
tough.
Did you say New Kids on the Block?
No, I didn't.
Jackson 5?
I didn't say Jackson 5.
Hanson?
I didn't say
Yeah.
Hanson. I don't think if Hanson has a boy band, but they are. Yeah.
Menudo?
No, I didn't say Menudo. Double I?
Hey, you know what I mean?
All right,
Yeah,
I'll take the
3-1.
L there. It's hard,
3-1.
man. This is hard. I didn't feel confident about that.
I was trying to bluff you into getting more. So that's why I was. If you would have said 9, I probably would lose there.
All right, now this one is a selfish one here. So I want to see. We talk a lot about Penn State on this show with different segments we've had, things like that. And the Division II powerhouse that is Chestnut Hill College.
Yep.
I want to see
player?
as a Temple alum. I want to see how many schools you can name in the American Athletic Conference.
Okay.
Basketball.
Well, I mean, I think for all intents and purposes, this league is not.
Okay.
Much
There's not any
difference
okay.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I mean, if it is, it's like small differences.
I can name 5.
I think I can get 6.
All right, you're gonna have to do it. I don't think I can get.
All right, so Al. So you said how many, Al? You said 6.
Yeah.
All right, let me just get the list up here because I don't even know if I could do.
And I can just say wrong. I can say wrong teams, right?
Yeah, you just think out loud. That's how it works. So you said 6 teams in 20 seconds that are currently a part of the American Athletic Conference. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, go.
Temple, Memphis, Tulsa, Houston, UConn, Seton Hall, UAB. That's 6, right?
No.
Shit. UCF, UFC. UFC.
Time.
UFC.
You got-
Pay-per-view in 2 weeks.
You got 4. You got 4 in there. So you said.
I think at one time or another, though, I named 6. They just might not be in it anymore.
Is Duquesne in there?
Seton Hall was never in the American Conference.
No, that
UConn
was. I just named the team there.
Yeah, UConn was, but they've been long gone. So you said Temple. You got Memphis. You got
Tulsa's right.
Tulsa, and
What about
UAB?
Texas,
you said, I think.
What about Texas San Antonio? Were they in it?
Texas San Antonio is now in it. Yes.
Fuck. Damn it.
That would
What
have
about
counted. So,
is Duquesne in there?
no, they're still in the A10.
No.
So the total list is South Florida. You said UFC. You might have been wanting to say UCF, but UCF is actually no longer. They're no longer in it. They're no longer in it. UCF is actually in like the Big 12 now or some crap.
What?
Yeah, it's a joke. South Florida, Florida Atlantic, Charlotte, former A10 member, UAB, what you got, Memphis, you got, SMU, North Texas,
Oh.
East Carolina, Tulsa, which you got. Tell me if you could see if you could find any natural geographical rivalries in this conference. Tulane, Temple, which you got, Wichita State, Rice, and Texas San Antonio.
Ugh,
Those are your American Athletic Conference members.
That's a mess of a conference.
Yep.
It's awful. I want to
That's
go back to the
disaster.
A10 so bad. All right, so Seltzer, you're going to get the point there. So that's going to make this 3-2 Al.
Al, we've only had one successful play.
I
That
know,
was you.
that was a great effort, though, man. I'm not gonna.
This one's going to.
Until I said UFC.
That was the best one. Oh, UFC. And the way you said it. All right, this one's going to be even funnier. We're going to try to name for our old friend here. We're going to try to name players currently on the Philadelphia Flyers active roster. So current Flyers. How many can you name? We're going to start with Al again. We'll start with you. We'll keep it with you.
3.
All right.
4.
So, okay.
You're gonna have to name them.
Fuck.
Such disrespect to the Flyers on this show.
Fucking,
4 guys, 25 men on this team. Should have put Union guys. It might even be higher on.
Oh, 0. Just that 15-year-old kid. That's it.
Oh man! All right, so Seltzer, you got 4 Flyers. Again, I got to get the list out because it's.
So tell Seltzer to put his hands up. What's he doing over there? Show the hand.
All right, ready?
yeah.
Time starts now.
Carter Hart, Travis Konechny, Brink, Bonk, Radek Bonk.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I don't have anybody else.
Wait
I
a
don't
minute.
think you got it.
Carter
Carter Hart's not on the active roster.
Yeah, that doesn't
All right,
count.
what do you want me to do?
What about Lindblom?
Lindblom's not on the team, bro.
What about Oscars Bertulius?
Also, I don't think on the team.
Was Brink and
Dude,
Bonk?
these guys haven't been on the team in years. Lindblom's been gone for like 2 years.
Listen, Al fancies himself a Flyers guy. He bluffed me.
Come on, man.
All right, here's some notables. So obviously Ursan. By the way, Silts, you didn't get it.
No shit.
Ursan is the backup now starting goaltender. All right, and then his backup is Ivan Fedotov, who actually said the other day he may not want to come back to the NHL because he didn't really like America. That Igor Zamula or
Right.
Cam York, Mark Stahl, Nick Seeler, Travis Sanheim,
Sam I've heard of.
Rasmus Ristolainen, Eric Johnson, Ryan Ellis.
If those are the notables, I'd hate to hear the guys who aren't.
No,
eligible.
these are the defensemen. Jamie Drysdale, who was in
Drysdale, yeah.
the trade, and then you got, speaking of trade, in the Giroux trade, you got that Owen Tippett,
Yeah.
Ryan Poling, Scott Lawton, Konechny, Ryan Johansson, Garnett Hathaway, not to be confused with OG R&B singer Donny Hathaway, Dennis Guryanov, fan favorite Morgan Frost, Tyson Forster, Joel Farabee, Nick Deslauriers, Sean Couturier. You didn't say Coots?
Hoots.
Followed by Cates, Coots and Cates, Noah Cates,
All right. Let's.
and then Cam Atkinson.
I knew Farabee.
I'm not that mad. I'm not that mad about it after hearing the names.
Yeah, so but they're going to be all right though. I'm in on the Flyers. We just got to.
And some people want us to talk Flyers. After hearing that, do you guys really want us to talk Flyers?
It's A's. You know what I mean? We got to get there at some point. Hopefully, and hopefully it's we want to talk about the guys. That means they're doing good. All right, here's a funny one: animals who spend time in the water and on land. Animals who spend time in the water and on land. Seltzer, what do you got?
I can do 5.
I could do 6.
I'll go 7.
Okay.
Now, let me clarify this. When you say spend time,
So I'm not saying that they're totally, what's the technical word, semi-aquatic or whatever, but they are known to have times when they are in the water, also be known to have times on land. They don't have to be like 50-50 or anything like that.
I'll go 8.
I'll go 9.
Oh, you guys are big animal enthusiasts. WWF is locked in here.
I don't know.
You got 10 on you?
I don't know if I can go 10. All right, I'm going to let him go. You go for 9.
Oh,
All right, so you got to
Try to
do
back it
9
up.
animals that have been on land and by sea in 20 seconds. Here we go.
this is trouble.
Ready, go.
Ducks, swans, flamingos, hippopotamus, crocodile, alligator, otter, polar bear, pelican,
Come on, Pelican.
chameleon.
All right. That was
what?
10.
Chameleon?
I
And
have-
frog and toad. Frog
That
and
was-
toad.
No.
Yeah, you missed frog, toad, snake.
Yeah,
turtle.
so you got
Wow.
9 without chameleon. Thank God, because that was a L take.
Are we counting polar bear?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Polar bears just chill in the water though. They don't
No,
like,
but they could be on the land though. They're not
That's why I
fish.
said 9. 9 was the goal, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you got 9. You got it. You just got it. You didn't say the franchise player, the mud skipper.
The what?
The mud skipper literally is half on land, half on water.
I never.
I think he's the only animal that does that. You had iguana. You had albatross. I don't think you said that.
Reptiles and amphibians. You had a lot of.
Yeah, albatross. One thing their claim to fame is when they spend the rest of their life with their first mate.
Good for them.
So when you lose their, you know what I mean, they're with them for life at that point.
What do we got? 4-3. Let's move it along a little bit.
Yeah. So that was 4-3 for Al winning right now. So Seltzer got that point, and we are going to go to. Let's keep it simple here. Let's do cartoon characters.
Whoa. All right.
Cartoon
characters.
I can name 8.
I can name 15.
Do it.
Big cartoon guy. All right, here we go, Al. 15 cartoons in 20 seconds. Go.
Homer Simpson, Maggie Simpson, Lisa Simpson, Bart Simpson, Marge Simpson, Waylon Smithers, Montgomery Burns, Peter Griffin, Meg Griffin, Brian Griffin, Stewie Griffin, Lois Griffin, Stan, Kyle, Cartman, Kenny, Ren, Stimpy, Doug Funny, Tommy Pickles, Chucky Finster, Phil and Lil.
Ooh!
Right? That was it, right? You just go through a whole show. You just barrel through all of them.
You could have done that. Yeah,
We're big cartoon guys in the Seltzer house, but that was good work by you.
Yeah, that was good work, Al. So you got the point on that one. Let's go. We're gonna keep moving along a little bit. Cities that have hosted the Summer Olympics. So cities that have hosted the Summer Olympics. What do you think? Let's go with Al first.
5.
7.
Al, you got 8? Summer Olympics have been going on officially since 1896, every 4 years.
I'll try 8.
I can do 9.
Damn, I was thinking whether I should have done 8 or 9 there.
Go 10. Challenge yourself. 2 in a second. You can get 2 every second.
I don't know if I have 10 in me. I don't think I do. I'm going to let Seltzer go for 9.
All right, so Seltzer's going to have 9 cities that have hosted the Olympics in 20 seconds. You ready?
Yep.
All right, your time starts now.
Rio de Janeiro, Atlanta, LA, Rome, London, Paris, Berlin, Sydney, Tokyo, Beijing. I feel like that should be enough.
You get 3 seconds.
Mexico City.
Very good. I think you have 15 there.
No, what? He named 11.
15.
11. Was it 11? You said 11 he got?
He said 9,
No,
but he named 11. I don't know if they're all right. Is Mexico City right?
Yeah, Mexico City was 1968.
All right.
So every one of the other ones that was right. I knew it just off the top, but I'll double check it right now. Paris, you said Paris, London, LA. LA is in 2028 will be the 3-time hosts of the Olympics. London, Berlin, Rome,
Rio, Atlanta.
Rio and Atlanta. Yep.
Sydney.
So yeah, you got Sydney's 2000. Yep, you got
Tokyo
there.
and Beijing were the other 2.
Tokyo and Beijing. Yep. So just some notables that you didn't mention. Did you say Athens?
Yeah.
No, but I probably should have.
No, I thought you did.
I don't think he said Athens.
Oh.
Believe it or not, St. Louis hosted an Olympics in 1904, as did Antwerp, Belgium, most notable now for their soccer team.
Planet Earth, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So Seltzer, that was a nice one there. So we're gonna give you the point. All right. So I have 5-4 Al with 4 to go. We're gonna try to go through these really quickly. So movies with sequels.
Mm.
I can name 7.
8.
9.
10.
Go for it.
All right, Al. So 10 movies with sequels. Time starts now. Go.
Home Alone, Anchorman, Zoolander, Taken, Rocky, The Godfather.
Come on.
There's so many, dude.
Come on to name them.
I don't know. Rocky 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's so Creed. There's so many, dude. It's so
So
hard.
you got 7 official. You got
You're
7
trying to
official.
zone in on like a certain. I don't know. I don't know how
Yeah,
to
because sometimes when it's so many, it's hard to do it because you don't know what to pinpoint.
right.
So you got 7 there. So I got to give Seltzer the point. You fell a couple short there.
5-5. We got a game.
Knot
Dude.
it up. We got best of 3 at this point, right? So we got players from Kentucky who were drafted into the NBA, University of Kentucky. Players from University of Kentucky who were drafted in the NBA. The reason I pick Kentucky is because they are the most drafted college in the United States to go to the NBA. I think it's like 168 players all time have been drafted to the NBA from Kentucky.
Ever. We're talking,
Ever.
not just current.
Yes, ever.
167.
Seltzer, can you name every one of them?
Who's first?
I'll say 10.
I will say drafted. I will say I'll go at 11.
I'll go 12.
All right, gotta do it. I don't think I could do 11.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna do. All right, so Seltzer, 12 University of Kentucky basketball players all time who were drafted into the NBA. Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Jamal Mashburn, Antoine Walker, Tony Delk, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, Willie Cauley-Stein, Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Harrison, Devin Booker, Tyler Hero.
All right, it's 11.
You didn't
Oh,
say
was that?
Anthony Davis. You had him on the tip of your tongue.
Huh?
Who's
That
the-
was what? That's why I
You didn't
said
say-
11, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got 11. Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
I'm saying you were saying Anthony, and then you didn't say Anthony Davis.
You know what? Now this is the problem with this game is like we'll be bidding, and in my head I have names. Like I had Anthony Davis and Julius Randle at the top of my head, and then I forget to say them.
Yeah, you didn't say Cat or Maxey. Those are like the two.
I said Cat. I forgot
Did you?
Maxey.
Yeah, you didn't see that. You didn't see Max. You didn't say Lou Soriopoulos either.
Did the other Harrison not get drafted? Because you said the one, but not the other.
Oh, I couldn't think of the other one's name.
Oh, it's Anthony Harrison. You said? I think
Andrew
it's
and Aaron.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like I said, 100 and some odd of these guys, and then I think there was 10 WNBA players, which also would have been eligible. All right, so we have 6-5 now. Seltzer has come back and taken the lead, Al. So you got to get these 2 to win.
How did he take the lead? He just lost that round.
I had
No,
11.
he didn't. He said 11. He had 11.
Bullshit.
Yeah, he got it on the head. He nailed it on
He
the
said
head.
he
He got
couldn't
11.
do 12.
All right, so closers in the Major League Baseball, closers who have recorded 45 or more saves in a season. Closers who have recorded over 45 saves.
See, this game's not going my way now because this is Seltzer's wheelhouse, dude.
We'll start with Seltzer. How many think he? You
You can
think
name
he
5.
I can name 6.
You can name 7.
45 or more. I'll try 8.
I think the fans want to see you give it a shot out.
All right.
All right, so Al, 8 guys, 8 closers that have 45 or more saves in Major League Baseball history. All right, in one season. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, your time starts now.
Eckersley, Kimbrell, Rocker, Gagne, Wagner, Lidge, Percival. Was he the one? No. Fuck. Who was the guy all those years? What about Francisco? What about Rodney? What about Rob Nen?
I got you with 5. I don't know. I'm looking now on the list.
You were close, man. Francisco Rodriguez and Fernando Rodney.
Fuck. Who's
Yeah.
who was like the dude who was like not really flashy, but he's like second all time in saves.
Trevor
Rob Nen?
Hoffman. I couldn't think of Hoffman.
You didn't get number 1 overall and says Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
bust.
of all time. Yeah. I would say for the record, the most in the season. You guys remember who that was?
It was Bobby Thigpen, but I think K-Rod broke him, right?
So actually, 2 guys. So Thigpen had 57 in 1990. Edwin Diaz, believe it or not, had 57 in 2018 with the Mariners. But the all-time leader is K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, with 62 in 08 for the Angels. All right, last one here. So
we'll figure out the last one. Were some of those right? Which ones were right? Was John Rocker right?
that's no. So Rocker was not on the list for 45 or more.
All right,
no.
was Lidge, Wagner, they were right?
So Wagner was Lidge. I'm looking through now. I don't know if let me see. Hold on, Lidge. I don't think Lidge ever got 45. He did lead the league in saves before, but not with that much.
I just pulled up his baseball reference. His career high was 42.
Yeah. Dude, there's a lot of guys there's guys I didn't even realize had that many saves. And remember Heath Bell? Heath Bell's on here from 2010. Brian Wilson, the X-Man.
Yeah.
He had 48. Alex Colomé at 47. Chad Cordero, 47. Jason Isringhausen. That sounds like a guy one of Al's boys.
Yeah.
You had to be an Isringhausen fan from some point.
I'll tell you what, that's 2 weeks in a row.
That guy reeks of Al.
Isringhausen 2 weeks in a row. Shout out last week on the Curse Families segment.
How about that former Yankee Dave Righetti at 46? Jose Mesa, 46.
Joe Table.
Isringhausen joining the Duncan Robinson 3K All-Stars here.
Yeah. All right, so that should clinch it, right?
That clinches it for Seltzer. You guys want to do
it? Doesn't clinch it because this last round is worth 3 points, guys.
You know what? We're gonna keep it going. You're right, Al. We're gonna make it 5 points. Why not? 80s sitcoms. 80s sitcoms.
Dude, I have no idea, man.
Now, these would be sitcoms that would originate in the 80s. They could have overlapped into other decades.
I can name 5.
I would get at least 12 of this, Joel.
God, I can't. I know. You go ahead and do it.
You said 5, Seltzer?
Yeah.
All right, give it a shot. You can start now.
All right, Full House, Saved by the Bell, Head of the Class, Growing Pains, Perfect Strangers.
There's 5.
They all originated in the 80s?
Yeah. Dude, Head of the Class. That's a big pull by you.
I don't know where that came from. How about Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss I love Who's the Boss. One of my favorites.
Shout out Tony Danza.
I can't believe those all original. I should have done it because that's I guess all those 90s sitcoms they teeter on the line there.
Yeah, most of them overlap. So Full House was one that I thought you might not have gotten, thinking it's a 90s show, but you're right. It did originate in the 80s, in 89, I believe it was. The Simpsons actually could have been one you could have went with.
I would have said The Simpsons and Married with Children were my top 2.
Married with
Children's a good one.
So right
now is a sitcom?
Huh?
I would never classified sitcoms and cartoons together.
Oh yeah, no, I would. It's just situational comedy.
Yeah, I guess
it's the same as if it was like Married with Children, Modern Family or something where we had a studio audience. It's just a cartoon.
Cheers was 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Cheers was 80s. Golden Girls.
Yeah, there was a lot of Chris. We're gonna put you in this one day. It's a lot harder.
It's hard.
What do you think?
Oh no doubt. It's a fun game though. I enjoyed coming up with different ideas because I know you guys would be formidable contestants, and you guys did a good job. So overall, though, Seltzer gets the win here. We'll count that last one just for the point, but 8-5.
That was an 8-2 run to close it out.
It was. Yeah, Al started out strong with the 3-0 run, but
fell apart.
Stick to the herbs and spices, my man.
Yeah, well, no, well, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna cook up. I guess said it a couple episodes ago. Jobber or like 15th man on the bench. I'm gonna
like
cook that up.
I like that.
He
But
said-
listen, guys, I have some bad news for you guys before we drop the beat tonight. And we're going to do it quickly after I tell you the news. The Boston Celtics are 3 minutes away from being NBA champions, and we will drop that beat.